Hey everyone, I'm Pastor Greg McMinn, pastor of the Presbyterian Church of the Resurrection in Conyers, Georgia. Today's Wednesday, so it must be time for Greg's Wednesday Words of Wisdom. Now, I'm sure all of you are aware of the protests that are happening around the country and indeed around the world, following the killings of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, among others. We've had reminders that there is still a lot of racial tension in our country. Somehow, every time something like this happens, we seem to dodge the real issues we need to be looking at. We need to have a larger conversation about race, racism, and how we can make our country and our world better. I want to share with you an eye-opening experience I had when I was a freshman in college. I was very fortunate to find a group of really close friends during freshman band camp. I was the only freshman in our larger group, and they really took me under their wings and helped me ease the transition into my first year of college. There were about 6 or 7 people in this group, and we did everything together, especially during band camp. We were together from breakfast until time for lights out. One day we all went to the mall, and I can't remember if we were there for something specific or if we just went there to hang out for a while and kill some time. But as we were walking through the mall, we came to a store that had a lot of high-end, expensive merchandise in it. And one member of our group said, "Hey, you know what would be really funny? Let's go in and let's all act real suspicious. Like we'll keep looking over our shoulders and ducking down and acting like maybe we're putting something under our shirts or in our pockets." Keep in mind, we all had a little bit of a twisted idea of what was fun in those days. But everyone in the group kind of laughed and talked about how best to do this and if we were really going to do it, except for one member of our group. There was one black friend who was part of this group. And I have to tell you, before this moment, I had never seen an idea or a prank or something off the wall that was too outlandish for her. She never hesitated to join in any other fun that the group wanted to have, but not this time. She shook her head, and she had the most serious look I ever saw on her face. She said, no, this is not a good idea. And everyone else was going, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun." No, you all go ahead and do this if you think it'll be fun. I'm going to go find a bench and I'm going to wait outside. And it didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. None of us knew what it was like to have a security guard or a sales clerk follow us around in a store, even when we weren't up to something. For us, we had to actively act suspicious in order to be seen as suspicious. All she had to do was walk in certain stores, and her very presence there would be seen as suspicious. If we were stopped by security, we could simply explain that we were just trying to be funny. We didn't really take any things. We could empty out our pockets, but there was nothing funny about it from her perspective. We often hear the expression white privilege, and there's a lot of debate about what that means or whether it really even exists. Someone I saw posted on social media, "I keep checking my mailbox, but I still haven't gotten my white privilege check yet." White privilege doesn't mean that simply because you're white, you have lived a privileged life. What it does mean is that the color of your skin has not made your life even harder than it already was. White privilege means just going into a store and being able to walk around looking suspicious and have it just be fun and games. Walking into a store and not automatically being seen as suspicious simply by your very presence there. In the end, it really wasn't that funny. No one called security and no one had to explain that we were just playing. I'm sure we left there and probably went to get something to eat, but I have never forgotten that moment. It helped me become more aware of how other people have to navigate things that I don't really even think twice about. So in the days and the weeks and the months to come, I want us to think more about places like that where one person may not have to worry so much as another person does. We're going to be continuing this conversation, but I ask that you really think prayerfully about how we look at one another and how we might indeed make our world a better place.